What's up, guys? Chandler Barber back at it again. Today I'm going to be doing a step-by-step tutorial on how I do a bald fade. I've already debulked the side of my client's head, and I'm just going to be showing you these steps on this side of his head. First thing you're going to do is grab your trimmers, and you want to set in your bald guideline. And you want to follow the contour of the head. This is going to be a mid fade, and a good rule of thumb is to kind of look at where you debulked around the parietal ridge, where you debulked whatever's connecting to the top hair. Will kind of show you a line that you can follow with your bald guideline. So I'm going to remove the hair under the bald guideline. Then I'm going to take my foil shavers, and I'm going to not go completely to the line, but kind of a little bit under it. And as I get close to under that guideline, I'm going to just lightly tap it. I'm not going to dig in, so I can create that gradient there. Then you're going to grab your clippers, open, and we're going to make our first guideline coming up from the bald guideline. So open, and we're going about 1/2 inch. Usually they say 1/2 inch to 1 inch. It just depends on how much you want to spread it. But yeah, these steps is basically what you would do on the other side and connect it to the back. You're going to have a dip in the back, just like I said, with the contour of the head shape. But some people take the line all the way across. Like if you're doing a high bald fade, a lot of times you might not have to dip it. Just making sure that you make those lines nice and clean so you can distinguish your guidelines. Once I have created the first guideline coming up from the bald guideline, I will then go to my number 1 here. Number 1 guard open, and we're going to basically do what we just did, but creating another guideline coming up from that. And you want to follow the shape. So with your initial bald guideline, you want to follow that shape with each guideline you create. So taking that up about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. You want to go over it a couple times, especially with certain hair types. You want to go over it a couple times to make sure that you're getting everything within that guideline and making sure it's clean and you can distinguish the lines. Once we get done with this, we're going to grab our 1.5 guard, and we're going to start to blend into what we initially did with debulking. And I used a 2 guard to debulk, so we're going to fade into that with the 1.5, which I have on now, and I have it open. So I'm gonna go up from the previous guideline with it open, just kind of going into what I used to debulk, which was the 2, and from there I'll come down to I'll actually close the 1.5 to really try to knock that line out coming up from the 1. A good system to use, especially when you're unsure, is to use a higher guard and then just keep closing or knocking it out notch by notch. If it's not knocking a line out, close the clipper, or get another guard that's under that guard and open it up and just follow that system down. Now I have the half guard on. I have it open, and I'm going into the 1 guideline that I created about midways. And I'm just kind of raking it. I don't want to dig in too much with this because I don't want to create another line. But after that, I'll close it fully and just tap into that line there. You're going to see that with that half guard open, it did create a little bit of a darker section there with some dark spots. So after the half, I'm going to grab my one guard again, and I'm going to just start with it open just to make sure I'm getting everything. I'm going up to basically where I hear it kind of starting to cut, and then I'll kind of pull back, and then I will close it just little by little until I have it completely closed, just to smooth that line out. And this is where you really have to use your eye. If a line's not coming out, you know, start with the guard you think it is open, just to assure that you're not going to create another line, and then just close it little by little until you see the line start to blend out. And with the way his hair is, it's kind of has some darker patches here or there, so I actually run over this method a couple times just to assure that everything needs to be cut where I had placed the guidelines. Once I see that you know, smoothing out, then I will get into removing that bottom bald guideline. So as you can see, I'm just running back over it. I open the clipper back up and just gonna kind of check myself again. And once you finish these steps, you can always go back and detail using the corner of your blade in certain darker areas. You can also use your shears and just kind of point cut in some of the darker areas, and you know, you'll see that can lighten up some dark spots as well. Now we're going to knock that bottom guideline out. I'm going to go in with the clippers midway. I'm going to close them just a little bit, and I'm going to go right under. I'm going to go right under where it would have been fully opened, and I'm going to go about midways into that guideline, and then I'll slowly just close the clipper down until it's completely closed, and I will knock that bottom line out. Here's a good time to really utilize your corners, especially with it fully closed. You don't want to bring that line up or create another line, so you can kind of just adjust as you need to with the pressure that you're putting on it. But I run back over those steps one more time again, just to assure that I'm getting any of those little darker areas. And that's pretty much done. I might go back and just detail a couple little dark spots, but as far as the main progression of doing a fade, that is what I would do. Then I'll just kind of lightly line up that area, and there you go. That is my fading steps. Thank you for tuning in.